Angela Levin didn't just drop a bombshell, she set off a PR nuke. In one calculated statement, the veteran royal biographer didn't simply throw shade at Meghan Markle. She tore open the fairy tale romance the world has been sold for the past 7 years. And beneath that polished love story, a calculated power play. One that, according to Levin, may have begun with someone else entirely. Prince William. Yes, you heard that right. Levin alleges Meghan's original focus wasn't Harry at all. She was aiming for the top prize, the heir, not the spare. That claim is now drifting through royal circles like smoke in a sealed room, leaving everyone coughing with suspicion. And this isn't coming from a throwaway gossip site. This is Angela Levin, a woman who's been connected to palace insiders since before Meghan even knew what the title Duchess meant. Levin says she heard it straight from trusted palace staffers, not gossip columnists, but aides and insiders who witnessed it firsthand. According to them, Meghan's early behavior raised eyebrows. Not simply because she was eager, but because that eagerness seemed laser-locked on William. Not in a romantic way, but like a hunter assessing her target. Calculated charm, measured warmth. Not flirting. Positioning. Strategic moves from someone who understood that, in royal circles, proximity equals power. Let's be clear, Meghan Markle wasn't some naive actress accidentally wandering into royal life. By the time she appeared at events alongside the Cambridges, she'd already been moving in elite circles for years. Hollywood celebrities, high-end stylists, political donors. She knew the rules of the game. And if Levin is right, she played them expertly. She knew where William and Kate would be. She got herself invited. She didn't just stumble into those rooms. She navigated toward them. But here's where it gets telling. Levin says William spotted it from a mile away. Having grown up in the royal spotlight, he was trained to recognize opportunists the way a hawk spots a rabbit. He stayed polite, but kept his distance. Meghan's charm, it seems, bounced right off him. Kate saw it too. That warm, sisterly connection Meghan would later claim she longed for? Levin insists it never existed, not because of class divides or cultural gaps, but because Meghan had allegedly once targeted Kate's husband. Picture being in Kate's position. At every event, every dinner, every public appearance, watching someone's attention linger just a little too long on your husband. That's not the start of a bond. That's the mark of someone you keep at arm's length. And once William made it clear he wasn't interested, the story shifted fast. Meghan met Harry, a royal bachelor, emotionally open, slightly rebellious, and, most importantly, single. Within just weeks of their first date, everything sped up. Commitment, followed by headlines, and soon the fairy tale was in full swing. But Levin insists this wasn't a whirlwind romance born of fate. It was the backup plan. When William became unreachable, Harry became the next viable doorway into the monarchy. And Harry, bless him, stepped right through it. The pace of their relationship, Levin claims, wasn't driven solely by love. It was fueled by urgency. A pivot. And that's why the story is making waves now. Because if people start to believe Harry wasn't Meghan's first choice, the fairy tale narrative begins to look less like reality and more like a carefully packaged PR product. It wasn't just the William revelation that stunned people. It was how seamlessly it fit into an existing pattern. Meghan's personal and professional relationships have often carried the same unmistakable thread: access, influence, positioning. Long before she ever set foot at a royal garden party, she had shown signs of knowing exactly how to work the proximity game. Take her first marriage. Trevor Engelson wasn't a chance encounter at a coffee shop. He was a Hollywood producer with valuable industry connections. That relationship boosted her profile faster than any audition could have. After the divorce, her circle evolved. She began appearing alongside stylists, publicists, and socialites with even deeper ties than she'd had on the Suits set. Step by step, she inched closer to the elite world she seemed determined to enter. A world that was exclusive and untouchable. That's why Levin's claims resonate. They don't stand in isolation. They slide perfectly into that established pattern. According to Levin, Meghan doesn't just build relationships. She uses them as strategic positions. Palace insiders, she says, noticed Meghan's particularly focused interest in William, not merely as a charming prince, but as the strategic figure who embodied exactly what she was allegedly after: status, legacy, and above all, power. If that narrative holds weight, then everything that followed, the romance with Harry, the wedding, the Oprah interview, starts to look less like a love story and more like masterful spin. And then there's Kate. Meghan once painted her as cold and standoffish, but what if the friction had nothing to do with personality? What if it was about territory? Kate wasn't just Meghan's sister-in-law. She was the woman who held the symbolic crown Meghan allegedly coveted most. Not the literal one, but the role of future queen. If Levin's version is true, Kate wasn't simply a supporting character in Meghan's royal journey. She was the rival who won. Insiders claim Kate spotted the warning signs early and maintained her distance, while Meghan publicly portrayed herself as yearning for closeness but receiving the cold shoulder. Perhaps that frosty dynamic wasn't cultural misunderstanding at all, but the lingering aftershock of a rivalry that began before Harry was ever part of the equation. Here's the twist: Meghan's silence. Normally, when bad press hits, her team reacts fast. Legal warnings, press statements, carefully crafted rebuttals. But this time, nothing. No denial. No subtle shade. That silence is pouring fuel on the fire. Critics are calling it an unspoken admission. Even her supporters are struggling, because silence is hard to defend when the accusation cuts this deep. Strip away the polished PR, and you're left with this: a woman accused of using the royal family as a stepping stone, with William as the first rung. True or not, perception becomes reality. If Meghan's fairy tale began as Plan B, people start questioning everything they thought they knew about the Sussexes: the love story, the exile, the victim narrative. And that's where the real damage sets in. When the dust settles, this isn't just about a tarnished image. It's about a crumbling foundation. The very story that made Harry and Meghan marketable, forbidden love, the outsider princess fighting against tradition, starts to feel less like destiny and more like a calculated PR campaign. If William was Meghan's first aim, then Harry stops looking like a soulmate and starts looking like the fallback option. And for a brand built on authenticity, that's lethal. From Netflix deals to book advances, the Sussex empire thrives on one image: a couple who chose love over duty. Levin's claim slices straight through that, revealing something else entirely: a failed royal bid disguised as romance. That's why some inside the palace are quietly smiling. For years, they've been painted as cold, unwelcoming, even prejudiced. Meghan cast herself as the misunderstood outsider. But if this story is true, it flips the script, not making the royals blameless, but validating their early suspicions. For Harry, though, the fallout cuts deeper. This isn't just a hit to Meghan's credibility, it's a hit to his judgment. If he really was the backup plan, then every drastic move he's made, leaving the family, torching bridges, publicly attacking them, starts to look like he was manipulated. Even worse, it suggests he still doesn't see it. And for a man whose image is built on raw honesty and emotional truth, that's devastating. Supporters brush it off as recycled royal drama, but the silence from Meghan's camp, paired with whispers from former palace staff, has created a storm too big to ignore. If Meghan thought staying quiet would smother the story, she miscalculated. In this case, silence isn't protection, it's gasoline. And here's the uncomfortable reality: Meghan's history in relationships has always shown a pattern of strategic upward moves, not in a cheap gold digger sense, but in a calculated way. Every friendship, every connection, every event fits the pattern of someone steadily climbing a ladder. It's not illegal, it's not even necessarily wrong, but it is intentional. And intentional ambition makes people uneasy. Angela Levin's words didn't create the damage, they exposed it. What's collapsing now is trust. The public bought a love story, and now it feels manufactured. If that illusion shatters, what's left for Harry and Meghan? A broken bond with the royal family. A press machine turning against them. A fan base starting to ask questions they never wanted to ask. And in the end, the tragedy might not be Meghan's ambition or the palace's coldness. It might be Harry himself, standing in the middle, defending a love that may never have been what he believed. Not the hero of a fairy tale, just a prince playing a role in someone else's script.